Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Esteemed Gentleman podcast for Tuesday, April 27th. I'm your host, Scott Labrie. Join alongside me, as always, we have Uncle Teabag, Tyler Sund.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. And we have all day Eric Deshane in the house as well.
Hello.
Hello. Not actually physically in the house, but maybe one day.
One day. Yeah,
One day.
hopefully we all can do that one day. Yeah.
It might be sooner than you think. That's what they call a tease in the business.
Mm-hmm.
It is Tuesday. We are going to be talking about one of our regular topics, and I came up with the topic for today. I want to talk about comic books. We watch comic book movies. We've been talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We've been talking about Invincible every week.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about the actual sitting on the toilet. You crack a comic book open and you start reading it. What are some of you guys' favorites to read?
I'll go first, I guess, then. Unless you want to go first.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
One that strikes a memory with me was the Sonic the Hedgehog comics when I was younger.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was kind of looking into it a little bit today, kind of thinking about it. And I was like, I wonder who actually published it, if it was like a DC or a Dark Horse or something like that. But it was actually Archie Comics.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea. And I was like, oh, I wonder how many issues they were. Because I remember I had like, when I'm pretty sure it was the 150th edition. It was like the Platinum edition.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I remember the whole outline of the front cover was all silver. And it was like the artwork was just insane. He was like some kind of big race tournament in, what the hell's the name of the main city where Robotnik has his big, I can't remember. I don't know why I don't remember, but it's been so long since I read him. Sonic Town, yeah. And I'm like, I wonder how many comics actually came of this. And apparently they ended at issue number 290.
Jesus. That's
which is
lot.
insane. I remember reading them whenever I had to go for my allergy shots when I was a kid. It was at the Guardian Drugs back when it was on Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
We would go in there, and then I know that there was like downstairs. You go downstairs to where the doctor office was, and that's where I would get my shot. And we would go upstairs into the little store, and then there would be comics on the shelf, and I would just like walk around and look at those, and like, oh, these are so cool. And I remember seeing like the Alien and Predator ones, and I thought, man, one of these days I'll get that one. I wasn't allowed to when I was younger because they were extremely graphic, really graphic. But the Sonic the Hedgehog ones, almost every week I would get the issue every week or every 2 weeks or something like that. But I had a whole collection of them. Those were my favorites. They were so good.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing too, because I remember reading those as well and watching the cartoon all the time, but the comics were way more serious in that tone. I remember the cartoons being this funny, kind of goofy cartoons, but the comics were like, no, they had like continuing storylines and lore and this deep world as well with that. So it was a lot more interesting to read that for sure with that. I remember seeing because I remember my friend Cameron too as well was into those, and he had the one comic series where they had the one book where it was Supersonic for the first time. Remember that being like a big thing with that too as well. And I remember seeing that, and it was awesome to finally see that in print and it being a real thing, right? So seeing Goku turn Super Saiyan for the first time, like, whoa, fuck,
Almost
this is great.
exactly like that.
Exactly like that, yeah. No, I wonder where they got the idea for that from. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that was really cool seeing that too. And we had that was a big talk in school time was the Sonic comic series for sure. So yeah, they were really good.
That was really good.
I do remember seeing those on the shelf. Never got them though. I think when I was a kid, more I guess towards kind of junior high issues when I kind of got more into actually buying a comic book every week, and that was Ultimate Spider-Man. They were putting that out, and I remember playing the game on PS2 and stuff like that. And I don't know if they were just like re-releasing the series. I think they were just re-releasing the series as comics because it would be like a flip issue essentially. You would read the comic, and then you get to like the halfway point, and then you just like flip it over, and it was like a double issue essentially. So you had I don't know why you had to flip it over. They couldn't just be like, all right, now here's the second half.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Right.
I guess it's the way to get 2 comic covers on.
Exactly, I think it was for the covers. I think that's why. Yeah,
probably.
So yeah,
and that was a lot of fun. Like reading those. Ultimate Spider-Man has a good place in my heart just because kind of the changes they made to kind of classic Spider-Man of like instead of Green Goblin being, you know, well, he's still Norman Osborn, but instead of being in like a suit on a glider, it's like no, he actually turned into like a actual goblin giant monster who like breathes fire and shit like that, and it's kind of cool how they did that, and always appreciated that series.
Yeah.
Any other you guys like, have you guys ever used Marvel Unlimited or any of those like other kind of streaming, well, not streaming services, but like on demand kind of services?
No, I want to, but I just want to add another subscription service to my already enormous account that I already have already. It's enough of that. So like I want to, but if it was free, sure. Like it's the kind of, you know, you're allowed so many a day or you only have certain issues, sure, but I don't want to pay for another subscription service. I'm so sick of that.
I get it. Yeah, I had it for a while there. I don't think I'm paying for it now. There might be a decent chance that I still am, but
that's why. Yeah,
the way things
why do I have
work.
like $40 and why am I spending $40 a month on this stuff? Oh yeah, I have other subscriptions I forgot about. Shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was always kind of cool, like going like after watching a Marvel movie or something. It's like, okay, you watched, I don't know, Ant-Man or something like that, and then, like it'd always be like, well, here's a highlight of Ant-Man and all like the really popular series of him and stuff like that. You just be like, just jump in, and you just start reading and stuff like that. I remember watching like or reading Cable and Deadpool on there as well. That was a good series, and yeah, it was a good one. I recommend it if you got the extra cash per month, and if you're a big comic book fan or Marvel fan. It's they got like hundreds and hundreds of issues on there, so
that's crazy. I can imagine.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I know comics are a little spotty nowadays because now I got the movies for it, but yeah, this is what started the movie, so we kind of gotta pay homage to that still, right? So you don't see them as big as they used to be anymore, unfortunately, which does kind of suck still. But I know what's good to see now though is I know I have a pile of I got in Deadpool later on after way after it came out, so you can buy those compilation collections now, right? So it's like a booklet of like 4 or 5 different stories in one. So that I'm loving nowadays because you can just pick one up for $50 and you read that for exactly. Just read that for. I think I have like the 3 of the like 6 of Deadpool ones you can get, and they're on my crapper right now. I just flip through them when I'm gonna poop and enjoying those. I think you have the same ones too, Tyler.
Yeah, I was gonna go grab the stack I have back here and just that's the best. Just buy like a big collection of them.
I bought that one. I bought the Dark Knight series of that one. I bought like the Civil War series with all those too. Like it was perfect because you don't have to worry about getting specific issues. You can just if you don't see the story, buy that piece and there's your whole story cut down to a little simple serving. Yeah. So
that was the one thing like reading what was it? I was reading Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales, and partway through the series they have their big event, which was Galactus like showed up on the comics. But like thing is like so this big event of course has every character coming to fight it. So you just like always get like a sliver or something like that. So it was kind of hard to like find the reading order where it's like, okay, after you finish this Spider-Man Miles Morales, now you have to go read Thor, because that's like the next kind of thing in the battle or whatever. Because if you just read Spider-Man Miles Morales, it'll be like right here, and then jumps to this part, and then jumps to this part, and then just jumps to that part. So you're like, I'm missing a lot of stuff that's going on here.
Yeah,
which is kind of a pain. I wish like maybe they solved that kind of issue where it's just like, all right, next in the part or whatever, and you just hit next or something like that. I wish they had that when I was reading it anyway.
One series I was reading when I was living in Edmonton was Batman Court of the Owls or Night of the Owls. I forget what it is. And that too, it's one of those series where it jumps from different characters, comic series per thing. I wanted to find like a anthology series of all of them together to have like that collection like we see at Marvel, but I couldn't never find one. And maybe I'll look online, maybe I can finally see it now. But the problem was, you read the Batman story for a bit, but then Nightwing has his own story with that one. Then Batwoman has a story with that one too. So you're missing these steps, right? So I find that seeing that is not in favor because why do I just want to read the whole continuous story. Why do I buy a whole other series to figure out what's happening on somebody else? It makes sales work, but not for me. I have no desire to keep shopping for other stuff. Just give me one story and that's it. But
yeah. money grab.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is, which I get, but I
Yeah.
mean, how popular are
Yeah,
comics
if you're
nowadays
more
too?
into like one character, one specific hero
Mhm.
or something like that, then it's kind of like, oh man, I want to know more what's happening here, but you have to read,
Yeah.
Thor. Who wants to read Thor? Come on.
Read Asgardian, yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
But yeah. Yeah.
Are there any like comic books outside of like Marvel and DC that you guys have read that you enjoyed?
Yeah, I was big into Star Wars when they re-released the original trilogy for theaters back in the mid '90s. So they had a big comic dump of all the different stories and everything else, and it was all released by Dark Horse Comics.
Hmm.
And like they're great for like little side stories stuff like that. And like one I got into was Boba Fett series, and those were like action packed and fun stories to read and watch as well with that. So I know one of them was a comic book series called Twin Engines of Destruction, where it's about Boba Fett fighting against like a doppelganger Boba Fett bounty hunter.
Hmm.
So there's a trap form, they fight each other, and it kind of has a big climactic ending. I'm hoping that's somewhat hinted in this new series coming up because it's such a good storyline with that. So I would like to see it, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say, I don't know.
I know, like it's a great like little it's a one-off story, which does suck, and it takes place way before the Django Fett and all that other stuff in the prequels was even a thought. It's back in like
Right.
96, 97. So
Yeah.
like it's you don't know what he looks like. He's all in you do see him without his armor, he's in bandages, he's in disguise, so you don't know what he looks like or how
Mm.
he is. And now it's a little ruined because well, we know who the actor is and what he looks like and what he talks like now. But back then it was all a big mystery. It was just this cool armored badass. And now it's like, okay, well, he's a bit of a punk now, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
old. The old
Yeah,
man.
like, but and there was like a few other like sideline Star Wars comics that I was into as well. Like one of them was called oh hell, I had it loaded here and now I lost it. Crimson Empire. It's about like the those red Imperial guards from the Emperor that he has in Episode 6.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's their own faction has like an inner conflict and they fight for power in that one. So it was a great like little political one with that and some more rebel stories after Episode 6. That's all garbage now because Disney kind of bought the rights to that and threw it out the window, unfortunately. But some of them were pretty cool lines back then, and that sucks because yeah, all this stuff before is useless now. So I have like 4 or 5 comics that mean nothing now. Unfortunately, it's like oh well, shit,
Yeah.
these are cool stories.
They're fan fiction.
Pretty much
Yeah.
at this point, yeah, yeah, illustrated fan fiction, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably share one the same with Tyler here, but one of my favorites is Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That
I
was
never got
gonna be
into
mine.
those.
Yeah, I like when the show came out. Everybody's like, "Oh man, Walking Dead comic is so good! I can't wait to watch the show." And then eventually, I was like, "I'll read the comic instead of watching the show." And I'm glad I did that because I think we watched a few episodes of season 1 with me and Tyler there, and I was like, "Oh man, this is terrible!" Like compared to the comics, like I don't know why they're deviating so much and adding characters in conflict for no reason because
Yeah.
it's like a perfect comic book series just the way it is, and
Mhm.
way more fucked up than the show is for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I started watching the show actually before I read the comics, and I was up to almost season 6 or 7, I think it was. It was like a season or 2 right before we meet Negan, and
Yeah.
and then I was living with you, and then I was like, "Oh shit, you have The Walking Dead," and you're like, "Yeah, you want to read it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I might read. I won't read up to where I'm reading." I'm like, "Man, this is completely different from the freaking TV show." I'm like, there's swearing in here. There's like genitalia showing. There's like kind of weird torture stuff going on. I'm like especially with the governor.
Yes.
Like what happens to him?
He
Like
gets
none of that
fucked
happened
up.
in the show.
He gets fucked up.
I'm like, Michonne is like even more badass in the comics than in the show. Like, and I actually thoroughly enjoyed the show. I
Mhm.
really enjoyed it. And then once it got up to Negan, then I'm like, well, I can't stop reading it now. I'm gonna keep reading. And I'm like, man, this Negan guy, man, he's a freaking lunatic. Like badass. He's got a good thought process. He's a survivor, and I think he's gonna stick around for a while. And he's like a key character and everything. And then I started watching the show like when it first introduces him, and I'm like, oh, he's not even swearing because Negan says fuck like every third word. And he's
Yeah.
like a total like almost childish, but like kind of sarcastic and just kind of has fun with, killing people and manipulating them and acting like, oh, he's all good with you. And then also he just turns around and, guts you or something like,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the show, he's kind of, I don't know.
Takes your wife, and then if your wife,
yeah.
And then like that one wife like leaves him and tries to go back to her husband. And
right.
He like irons half of his face and like burns it. It's like,
yeah.
Because you see one dude who has a fucked up burnt face, you're like, man, what happened to that guy?
Right.
And then you figure it out. You're like, holy shit, this guy's a psycho.
He will have your wife, and you will allow it.
Yeah.
Or you'll get half your face burnt off as a final warning.
Mm-hmm. I have to get the last compendium, still the last big book, and
read it.
That's the series. It ends there.
Yeah, because it ends with the whisper, or what are they called? The whispers or the walker or whatever, the ones that wear the zombie skin and they travel with the herds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert for like issue 175.
Yeah, which was fucking awesome. Yeah, like super awesome idea.
These zombies are talking. It's like, nope, just people wearing zombie skin.
It's like, why are they carrying knives and trying to stab people? Like, why are these zombies? Are the zombies like? I thought the zombies were like evolving. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then it's like you find out it's like it's even more fucked up than I thought it would be. But that's Robert Kirkman. Now, what an amazing writer. Takes a very basic genre and just turns it into something amazing.
And Rick Grimes gets progressively more insane throughout the series. It'll be like okay for a while, and then like something happens. He's just like, we're gonna fucking murder all of them. It's like, well, Rick, settle down. It's like, no.
Yeah, relax. Yeah, I guess he's kind of like that in a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
He goes pretty ape shit a few times,
but there's
does
no
his whole howling.
What's his face? Death Stranding guy. What's his name?
Norman Reedus' character that everyone's in love with.
Something, I don't know.
No, Merle's the brother. What's his name? What's his name? I can't even remember.
Yondu?
Yondu? No.
Yeah, Norman Reedus, that character does not exist in the comic books at all.
No.
I don't understand why they added that to the show. It's like, we need a badass with a crossbow in this show. It's like, no, Rick's a badass. Michonne's a badass. We got the badass quota covered, man. It's fine.
Exactly.
And Carol,
and then they make Carol into like a total psycho nut job, murdering. It's kind of like, she's not bad. My phone's vibrating like crazy. That's annoying.
Yeah.
My train of thought. Yeah, but yeah, Walking Dead was amazing.
Yeah, I think another Robert Kirkman thing, Invincible. We've been watching it. I think I'll probably pick that up.
Yeah,
after the show ends, because I think there's gonna be like no waiting for the next season. It's like, hey, I need to. Especially, we'll see how it ends, because I think just next week's the finale, season finale.
So. Already?
Oh, wow. I don't even know if I want to see how it ends, because I'm like, I'm so worried. Because with Robert Kirkman, you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. Nobody is safe, man. He's like the George R. R. Martin of comic stuff. It's like nobody is safe. Main character, don't care. Disembowel him. Yeah, it's crazy. What a great show, though.
Yeah, and another great comic book series that I haven't finished, and I guess I just read that they're on hiatus right now. Is a book called Saga. It's also made by Image Comics and Skybound, and if you guys like Google search kind of what it looks like, it's kind of trippy. It's like this goat dude with like a woman who has like dragon wings and shit like that, but like essentially it's like there's a war between these two races, and it's like all set in space and stuff like that. And eventually, like this goat dude, I think, gets captured and falls in love with the lady and stuff like that. So it's got like Romeo and Juliet kind of vibes, but also like Star Wars and like Lord of the Rings as well.
And breastfeeding and
it's like it is kind of interesting too, because it's like, you know, they have their home worlds, but they'll go to like different planets to fight, because like, well, we don't want to fuck up our own planets, so we'll fuck up whoever's planet this is with our war. And and you also have the robot faction or race, and it's just like essentially just like dudes with like TVs for heads and stuff like that. It's like it's strange. It's like the creators, they set out to make a a story that can only be a comic book. Essentially, they wanted something that can't be adapted really into a movie or into a show. Something that like really takes the media of comic books and like goes to the farthest with it. And I really liked it. I think I read the first 4 volumes of it.
Okay.
And it was pretty awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can see what they say by that. That's for sure something only can really be done in comic book series. Holy moly, yeah.
Yeah. Or with like something with just a huge budget, like HBO throwing millions of dollars.
And almost to the point where you couldn't duplicate it without it being wrong or not correct. Because there's no way you can translate this into a TV setting without it being looking weird or being wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just like the landscapes of the different planets and all this other stuff.
Character
and
design and what's going on.
The monsters
and oh my lord, yeah. It's a little elaborate.
I say check it out. I think if you there's Comixology, which is like an Amazon thing. I don't know if you could get that free with Amazon Prime or maybe just a discount with Amazon Prime, because that's Amazon's comic thing. But I think most of that's on there, so if you want to check it out, or you could just buy the copies from Amazon too. I recommend it.
Sign in with your Amazon account. How much is that? Interesting.
$1 million.
You know who could adapt Saga? Zack Schneider.
Doing it slow-mo, here we come.
Slow motion.
What was that one series that came out a little while ago? It had like it was like fairies and like fantasy creatures mixed in with real life stuff.
Carnival Row.
Wasn't that who made that one? It wasn't Zack Snyder. It was somebody.
No, that wasn't Zack Schneider. That was I don't know. I don't know who is that one. I never finished that one. I wanted to.
Is that based on a comic or not? Or do you guys?
I don't think
That's
so.
the one thing I could think of that was recently that was like kind of attempted to be like a different comic series to a TV show, but maybe it wasn't though. But I remember seeing that one being like, oh, this looks like it's off of a comic book or something.
What's it based on? No.
Let's see here. Carnival
I
Row.
don't see.
I think it's its original TV series. No,
it is. Yeah.
That would have been something that would have been snatched up by made by somebody else before, now turned into a TV show kind of thing. But nope, never mind.
New goo.
Is there a comic book that you want to be made into a movie or TV show that hasn't been yet?
I can't think of a specific series. There's characters I want to see done well. They've either been done incorrectly or just haven't been implemented yet. I want to see Gambit, a series with Gambit done properly. He's always been one of my favorite comic book characters. I find he's like that's a background character, but like I know in the comic book series, in the comic book cartoon show and the comic series, he's much more of a powerhouse character or a much more stable character, and he's never really shown nowadays anymore. Hopefully now with the mutants coming to Disney Plus, hopefully down the line here, this is his day in the sunlight because I like that character.
Yeah,
that's a good one. It's a good shout. I mean, we've had X-Men movies and stuff, but I'm just waiting for them to actually get the MCU treatment and that sort of thing, and finally get them involved. That will be, it'll be so good. I can't wait.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be nice to see the X-Men involved finally. Get some Punisher in there, and I want more Punisher. Is what I want.
Punisher?
I want more Punisher. I want more Deadpool. I want Deadpool with the MCU too. Like I think him getting dropped in would just be hilarious, honestly. And just seeing those characters interact with his character and just being written in together, I think that would be amazing. Because he's got the belt, he can jump to multiverse, and maybe he can play a key role when he doesn't really know he's just fucking shit up in the multiverse or something. I'm just creating ideas now, but yeah, it'd be really nice for more Deadpool and more Punisher.
I was gonna
because I know Spider-Man and Deadpool were pretty tight in the comics.
Yeah,
like
Spider-Man's friends with everybody.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, he's a fan of everybody.
I was gonna say though, like with Zack Snyder, like constantly giving Batman a gun and stuff like that. I had a thought, like, man, Zack Snyder just wants Batman to shoot people. He should just make a Punisher movie. Like that's what he should do. Like just do that.
Right?
Yeah,
he probably would make a pretty decent Punisher movie.
For sure. Yeah, noir Punisher movie.
Yeah.
You know, and you have the slow-mo and the graphic like visuals.
Oh,
yeah.
Can you imagine if Zack Snyder made a Punisher movie and all like the DC Snyderverse fanboys, they'd like implode in on themselves.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know if I should
No.
watch the movie or
Right.
Oh yeah, he just
Yeah.
yeah. See, I like the Punisher, like
Children.
the newer release that's in the MCU, the one that came out on Netflix. But I didn't like that character of the Punisher. I didn't like that version of Frank Castle. I liked where it was going. I liked what the potential it had, but I just didn't like that portrayal. The portrayal of him. Yeah,
Like you didn't like the actor?
not the actor, just how the actor portrayed him. Like to me, I remember the original. He's always been Frank Castle's always been like a methodical, well thought out. He takes his
Not like
time.
a raging kind
Not
of
like
guy.
a raging child with a gun. No, like he's just doesn't freak out. He takes his time. He's methodical. He thinks ahead, right? And
Doesn't get his ass kicked every episode.
yeah, and doesn't just get mad and just punch his way out. Like no, Castle was a smart guy, but no, he just
See, an underrated movie, but you probably because we watched it together was Punisher Warzone, where the guy who plays Titus Polo in Rome, and he's in there, and he's like a walking tank, and he just destroys people. He gets his nose broken, he takes a pencil and resets it, and like he's just like one punches like through a guy's head, like that's a Frank Castle, but the movie was just complete garbage, and the villains, I want my applesauce back, and then Jigsaw, and they got the real strong fake Boston accents.
Yeah,
Gets the brother out of the mental institution, and he's like super crazy. He's doing that
like,
laugh,
and there's
like
grease on the lens or something like that. It just looks real grimy and shit. Like
washed out image, grimy green, typical like throw the green filter on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna say one of my favorite Punisher little kind of series was I forget what it was, and I can't seem to find it ever because I want to reread it. But it was like it starts off with a American soldier who got captured by like a terrorist group, and he's like about to be beheaded on video, and he's like, he's gonna fucking find all of you, he's gonna kill you all, and he's like has like this Punisher pin on his like his vest or whatever, and then it just like cuts to Punisher walking up to this little fort in the desert, and he cuts the power to like the fort, and then he just like puts like magnesium or something like that on like in the shape of a skull on his thing, and like lights it on fire, so it's just like glowing, and he's like the only thing that's like shining through this whole thing. He's just fucking mowing people down and stuff like that. I was like, this is the most badass thing I've ever seen. Is like, oh, it was so cool.
yeah, that'd be sweet to see.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be awesome. That'd be great.
Right,
Punisher, more Frank Castle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and more Daredevil. He was cool too.
Daredevil was cool.
Yep.
Maybe more.
Too much of a goody two-shoes.
I like Luke Cage. He's awesome.
Yeah,
I like that actor who played him.
The story was
passe,
kind of mediocre.
Mm-hmm. Same with Iron Fist and Jessica Jones. I found too as well. It's
Iron
Fist
like sucks.
Yeah,
Iron Fist sucked. Yeah,
that was the bottom of the barrel.
I don't know if it's like the actor who played Iron Fist or just the way they wrote him or something.
Everything, yeah, it was.
Yeah, it just seemed like Iron Fist was written by somebody who makes like something that they're taking it too seriously. It's like, no, you don't have the budget for it. Like, just make it very mediocre and just go with it. And they're like trying too hard, and it was just so.
And he like always like was struggling to use his freaking powers. It's like, god damn, man, just like do it already.
Just punch people already. You have one talent, and that's it.
You do one thing.
You do one thing. Whereas Daredevil, he can't see, but man, he can kick the shit out of everybody. You gotta be able to punch people through walls, man. He's got.
I want to see in the comics where he's got two freaking glowing fists and he's going like nuts, and
he's just like launching dudes. Yeah, exactly. And then Luke Cage, he just puts on a hoodie and walks in a wall of bullets, and that's his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had Cottonmouth, Mahershala Ali. He was so good in that first season.
But he's just a tour de force.
Exactly.
There's nothing that can.
And he's gonna be Blade. That's gonna be so good.
That's gonna be so good.
Cool. That's cool. Yeah. I really liked him also in Alita Battle Angel. He was really good in that one too. Played kind of like a. Yeah, he was the one
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
running the tournament, working for Edward Norton's weird character.
Zion's, whatever it was.
Zion,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, really good.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
yeah.
Well, we're kind of out of time. Any other comic book series or characters that you wanted to shout out before we get out of here?
You guys get your hands on the Predator comics or the Alien comics. Dark Horse.
Nice.
I believe it's Dark Horse.
Yeah, it's Dark Horse.
Do it.
That's
Beautifully drawn. That's my recommendation. Like some of the best artwork you'll see. Not a lot of talking, because obviously the Predator doesn't really talk. He just kills. Yeah, very good stuff. Especially when he interacts with the alien. He's fighting the aliens too. Oh man, it gets graphic. Yeah, it's good stuff.
What about you, Eric?
Eddie Brock has always been one of those like passe Spider-Man characters, but actually down the line they turned him into a hero. He was able to get the symbiote suit from Venom, so he became the new Shield's version of Agent Venom, which I love because he was actually a Afghan war vet who ended up losing his legs. So of course I went to him right away. So when he wears a symbiote suit, he becomes a full-bodied Asian, right? So this whole relationship with him and the symbiote working together to function and how they are, and it's an awesome character, and it's a great series that I've enjoyed now. So yeah,
cool.
So yeah, Eddie Brock's Venom. Take a look at it and see.
There you go. And I'm gonna recommend Saga. Check that out. Good one. Well, there you go. That's it for the podcast. Thank you so much for listening or watching. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a like and subscribe. And if you're listening on a podcast service, give it a thumbs up, give it 5 stars, subscribe, whatever you got to do on there, and then head over to our Facebook page. Give us a like, as we're there as well. That's going to do it. We'll be back here tomorrow with another topic. Until then, adios.
See ya.
Bye-bye.